In case of instruction pipelining, the various instructions are pipelined together. Instruction, it is a command given to the computer system for performing some specific action. Instruction pipelining can be learned through a non-pipelined architecture and a pipelined architecture. The non-pipelined architecture was implemented with the earlier processors like 8085, and the pipelined architecture is implemented with the advanced or the recent processors like 8086 and the processors which we use nowadays. In non-pipelined architecture, here we are executing 5 different instructions. Let us assume instruction I1 requires 2 units of a time for executing itself. To execute an instruction, the basic requirement is the basic step to execute the instruction is fetch and execute. So we will consider two basic stages for executing an instruction, that is fetch and execute. So fetch and execute is for first instruction in the non-pipelined architecture we have performed here. Now the second instruction have come. Fetch and execution have happened with the next 2 units. So 4 units of the processor are consumed here. Then the third instruction have come in the non-pipelined architecture. Fetching and executing is done for the fourth instruction, and for the fifth instruction the 2 steps are performed. So this is how the 5 different instructions are executed here as in case of 8085 processor. This is a non-pipelined architecture. Now on the same ground, we will consider the pipelined architecture. In case of pipeline architecture, we observe that when the first instruction is executing at that particular time, there are 2 steps that we need to perform. The very first step is fetching that instruction and executing that instruction. Now when the first instruction is executing, at the same time in the pipeline architecture, the second instruction is fetched. When that second instruction is fetched and it is in the execution stage, so when it is in the execution stage, the third instruction is fetched. So what happens that we will see with the help of this diagram. This is a complete time required for 5 different instructions in the non-pipeline architecture. So here this is the instruction 1 2 3 4 5, 5 different instructions we are executing now, but with the help of pipeline architecture. So fetched with the first instruction and we are executing the second instruction E1. So when we are executing the first instruction, this is a fetch, this is a execute for first instruction. So when we are executing the first instruction, at the same time we are fetching the second instruction. If there is a fetching, then the execution of the second instruction will happen. But at the same time we are fetching the third instruction and execution is happening in the second stage, in the later stage. When the third instruction is executing, at the same time the fourth instruction is fetched and then it is executed. At the same time, when the fourth instruction is executed, fifth instruction is fetched and it is executed. So relatively you can observe this is a complete time. This is a complete time required in case of non-pipeline architecture. And in case of pipeline architecture, this is the half of the time that is required. Here we are considering the 2 stages of execution. So with this simple diagram of 2-stage pipelining architecture, it is very clear that with the instruction pipelining which we are learning now, with the instruction pipelining, we are saving half of our time with only 2-stage instruction pipelining. Now for understanding it with a detailed stage. This is the diagram for three-stage pipelining where we are considering fetching, decoding and executing stages with a normal processor and with a pipeline processor. So fetching, decoding and execution is happening for first instruction when the first instruction is in the decoding and execution phase. The second instruction is fetched and it is decoded and it is executed. At the same time, when the second instruction is in the decoding phase, the third instruction is fetched, then it is decoded and it is executed. For four-stage pipelining, the similar process is repeated. But as we go on increasing the number of pipelining, number of stages of the pipelining from the 2 stage to 3 stage to the 4 stage, you can observe here the parallel processing is increasing and lot of time is saved as we are going on increasing with the number of stages of pipelining. Right? There are different advantages and even hazards of this. Advantage, it is very fast. Hazard is, right, branching is happening in case of controlling the instructions, data dependency is increasing and structural dependencies are increasing. So this is how the instruction pipelining can be understood.